Well, good day, everyone. I'm Marty Mongiello, the chairperson of the board here at the United States Presidential Service Center, and I'm pleased to announce this immediate release. The United States Presidential Service Center joins forces with Equal Justice for All People. Today, August 2nd, 2022, the United States Presidential Service Center is partnering with North Carolina-based Equal Justice for All People in an effort to get Governor Roy Cooper to reopen the case against Brian Keith Tate. He is serving time for rape unfairly and unjustly and should be released. In a statement from Dr. Miguel Rodriguez, he stated, "I'm pleased to be adding our voice to the efforts for Mr. Tate, who has been without a voice for more than 3 decades, announced United States Presidential Service Center co-CEO Dr. Miguel Rodriguez. This is a case where the facts simply don't add up to a conviction. When Doris Elaine Smar brought this case to my attention, the USPSC found significant questions about the evidence in the case. Evidence that has been evaluated by then Attorney General Governor Roy Cooper, the same man who now sits in the governor's chair here in North Carolina. More than a decade ago, Cooper's own staff found evidence of wrongdoing in the State Bureau of Investigation blood lab inquiry," states Doris Elaine Smar, who I am going to introduce in 1 second. Executive Director of EJFAP, the North Carolina-based Equal Justice for All People. Cooper has even today refused to review this case. Those of us here at the United States Presidential Service Center have lived our lives with integrity and honor and service to our country. This is part and parcel of what we do. We are humbled to be part of this effort, mentioned Dr. Rodriguez. And at this time, it is my pleasure to now introduce Doris Elaine Smar.
Good day, everyone. My name is Doris Elaine Smar, and I am overjoyed to be standing here with those at the United States Presidential Service Center to raise awareness about the Brian Keith Tate case. I am with Equal Justice for All People. Our mission is to investigate, educate, advocate, and eradicate injustice within the American justice system. I come before you today just as I have come before the last 3 governors of our state, appealing on behalf of Brian Keith Tate, a man who has been wrongfully incarcerated for more than 32 years. This is not an appeal based on emotion. Rather, it is an appeal based on the facts. Former Governor Beverly Perdue found merit in the case. Even our current governor, Roy Cooper, ordered an investigation into the SBI lab in his role as Attorney General more than a decade ago, and it found evidence of wrongdoing. And that's why we are here, to undo a wrong. What's troubling is that Brian Keith Tate is not the only one. There is evidence that in more than 200 cases, state investigators exaggerated the significance of blood testing to the prosecutor. Those are not my words. Those are the conclusions of former SBI agent Chris Swecker. His investigation found that in these cases, a second, more accurate blood test produced inconclusive, or in many cases, no evidence connecting or linking the state suspect to the crime. For more than a decade, these questions of evidence have lingered. And for many days and weeks, Brian Keith Tate has bided his time behind bars, hoping that the evidence, the true evidence in the case, would clear his name. We hear words like integrity and truth being tossed around in our country today. The men and women of the United States Presidential Service Center have lived their lives with these words at the center of their daily missions on behalf of our country. I am blessed that they are with me today as we work to find answers, not just for Brian Keith Tate, but for others who have been caught up in this miscarriage of justice. Even today, Governor Cooper has refused to review this case. He cites the fact that Brian Keith Tate is eligible for parole. What he doesn't say is that parole hearing won't be held until 2040, which is 18 years away. We, those of us at Equal Justice for All People, and those of you at the United States Presidential Service Center are demanding Brian Keith Tate's immediate release. We are also asking for a new trial for Mr. Tate, as well as a wider investigation into the actions of law enforcement and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation lab and the impact that its tainted investigations are having on the judicial system. And be there no doubt, these tainted investigations do have an impact. They have an impact on brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, entire families that are torn asunder by this miscarriage of justice. Our Constitution confers equal protection under the law and the promise of liberty for all of us. It's time for all of you seeing me today to open your eyes, ears, and especially your hearts to the very real notion that this is still not the case for all Americans, especially Brian Keith Tate. We elect our leaders to serve us with integrity and honesty. We expect them to do the right thing. In the words of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. Brian Keith Tate and so many others need someone to serve them. Governor Cooper, we elected you to serve. And all of us gathered here today call on you to serve this man. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless our nation. I'll take your questions now. Thank you.